where your pocket change could be the key to your early retirement. Okay, real quick, have you ever dug into the couch cushions, hoping to find a buck or two for coffee, and instead pulled out a dusty old penny and thought, this thing can't be worth squat? Well, guess what? The dirty little penny might just be worth more than your car. Scratch that, it could be worth more than your house. Today, we're diving deep into one tiny copper-colored coin that's got collectors going bananas, the 1988 Lincoln cent, a 1-cent piece that recently made headlines for being valued at a jaw-dropping $1.90 million. Yes, you heard me right. A penny, with a D mint mark, from 1988, is out here casually living its best millionaire life. So grab a drink, maybe a magnifying glass, and let's talk about how this little guy went from spare change to serious change. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like the idea of turning old coins into gold mines, because I've got a whole treasure chest of coin knowledge to share. Let's roll. It was minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark right under the date on the coin. Over 5 billion of these were made in 1988. That's billion with a B. So what makes one of them special enough to be worth nearly $2 million? The answer lies in one word: errors. Yup, in the coin world, mistakes paid big time, and this particular penny has a rare variety error that sets it apart from the billions of ordinary ones. We'll break that down in a minute, but let me just say, if you've got a 1988 penny lying around, you might want to hang tight because we're going to show you how to spot the jackpot version. The main reason collectors go wild over this coin is due to a tiny design flaw. It's called the reverse of 1989 error, also known as the close AM variety. And now I know what you're thinking, close AM? What in the Lincoln Memorial is that? On the reverse side of the penny, the words United States of America sit at the top, and down below, you'll see 1 cent and the FG initials of designer Frank Gasparo near the base of the Lincoln Memorial, but the juicy part is right in the word America, specifically the A and the M. In most 1988 pennies, those letters have a noticeable space between them, but on the rare error coins, the A and the M are practically touching. Hence, the close AM nickname. Because in 1989, the design of the reverse changed, the spacing between the A and M was tightened. So a few 1988 dies mistakenly used the 1989 reverse design, creating this hybrid error. It's subtle, it's sneaky, and it's worth a fortune. Now for the juicy part: how does a penny with a close AM error jump all the way up to a $1.9 million price tag? Well, rarity is the name of the game in coin collecting. Out of the billions of 1988 pennies made, only a microscopic handful have been found with this reverse design flaw, but it's not just about rarity. It's about condition. This particular coin was not only rare, but it was found in pristine uncirculated condition, graded MS69, practically perfect. That's like finding a brand new 1988 Corvette with 2 miles on it, still in showroom plastic wrap. A private collector with deep pockets and a love for Lincoln cents was willing to shell out $1.9 million for the honor of owning one of the rarest and cleanest error coins ever minted. It must say 1988, with a D mint mark under it. Flip it over and look at the word America. If the A and M are close together, you may have struck copper gold. You'll also want to look for sharp details in the Lincoln Memorial and the FG initials, which should be slightly further from the building than usual. If it checks all those boxes, you've got something special now. Don't go running to eBay just yet. The next step is to get the coin professionally graded. That's where a service like PCGS or NGC comes in. They'll grade and authenticate your coin for a fee, and that little slab they seal it in can make all the difference between pocket change and payday. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my junk drawer. You know, the place where batteries go to die, and rubber bands go to retire. I had this old Altoids tin full of pennies I'd saved since college. Just random pocket change. I started going through them, and what started as boredom turned into a full-blown rabbit hole. I found a 1988 penny and thought, no way. Could this be it? I grabbed a magnifying glass like I was Sherlock Holmes, stared at the back, and wouldn't you know it, the A and M were practically kissing. I sent it in for grading, and while mine wasn't the $1 million version, it still came back worth $1,100. From 1 penny, let me tell you, that $1,100 bought me a new washing machine, a steak dinner, and a whole new obsession with checking every coin I touch. The story of the little 1988 Lincoln penny that went from penny jar to millionaire stardom. This isn't just about coins. It's about looking at everyday things differently. That penny you toss in the tip jar could be the key to your financial breakthrough, and if you take anything away from this video, let it be this: check your change. Every coin has a story, and some of those stories are worth millions. So start hunting, my friend. You never know what you'll find hiding in that old coffee can, your glove box, or your granddad's cigar box. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next time we expose another coin that could turn you into a millionaire overnight. Drop a comment if you think you might have a close AM penny or just want to say hey. I love hearing your stories and helping folks figure out what their coins are worth. This is your host signing off. May your pockets be full and your pennies be priceless. Hey folks, what if I told you that a single penny could be your ticket to a brand new lifestyle? I'm not talking about stumbling into a time machine or winning the lottery. I'm talking about something that's probably hiding in your change jar, your grandpa's old coin stash, or that dusty coffee can under the sink. Yep, today we're diving into the magical world of the 1960 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that could be worth up to $1 million. Now, before you run off to flip over your entire house, stay tuned, because we're going to talk about what makes this penny so special, how to spot it, and even the crazy true story of how I almost threw away a fortune, literally. So grab a snack, pull up a chair, and let's talk coins, cash, and how you might already be richer than you think. Let's start with a little background. The 1960 Lincoln penny was minted at the Denver Mint. That's what the little d stands for under the date. This was a pretty interesting year in coin collecting because the US Mint actually made two different versions of this coin in the same year, a small date and a large date variety. But oh no, these little differences can make or break a coin's value. And the 1960 small date variety, especially in pristine condition, has become one of the most sought-after pennies in US history. Some of these babies have sold for thousands. But there's one penny that takes the crown. A near-perfect specimen that recently stunned the collecting world with $1 million price tag. First, it's all about condition. We're talking mint state, red brown, or full red luster, as if the coin was struck yesterday and tucked away in a velvet-lined box. Next is rarity. Out of hundreds of millions minted, only a tiny fraction survived without wear or discoloration. This rare 1960 small date penny had a striking error, a double die obverse. That means the design was accidentally stamped twice during minting, causing slight doubling in the date and lettering. For collectors, this is like finding Bigfoot with a winning lottery ticket in his hand. Put all that together, rare variety, near perfect condition, error strike, and boom, you've got $1 million penny. First, grab a magnifying glass. The difference between the large and small date can be subtle. The small date features a thinner 0 in 1960, and the top of the 6 is level with the 9. On the large date, the numbers look bolder and more spread out. The mint mark D should be clearly punched under the date. Then, if you're lucky, you might even notice slight doubling on the numbers or lettering, which is the jackpot error. If you've got one, don't spend it. Don't toss it in the tip jar. Put it in a holder, and have it graded by a professional coin grading service. That step alone could mean the difference between a $10 penny and $1 million monster. It was a regular Tuesday. I was cleaning out my dad's old tackle box, you know, the kind filled with fishing lures, rusty nails, and coins that have seen better days. At the bottom was a sticky envelope full of wheat pennies. I was 2 seconds from dumping the whole thing in a Coinstar machine. But something stopped me. Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was the ghost of Abraham Lincoln. But I sat down and looked them up. I found a 1944 steel penny worth nearly $5,000. That moment changed everything. I've been coin hunting ever since. And you better believe I check every 1960 penny I come across. A worn 1960 large date? About 2 cents. Sorry, not your $1 million ticket. A nice 1960 small date with some red color left? Could be worth $10 to $50. Mint state red coins with no scratches or dings? We're talking $200 to $1,000. Certified MS67 plus red small date, especially with doubling? Welcome to the six-figure club. So coin grading matters. And if you're not familiar with services like PCGS or NGC, it's time to get acquainted. They'll evaluate your coin, give it an official grade, and slap it in a tamper-proof holder that buyers trust. Well, don't walk into your local pawn shop just yet. Start with a reputable coin dealer. Look for members of the American Numismatic Association. You can also list coins on auction sites like Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, or even eBay. Just be prepared to show grading documentation, and don't forget coin shows. If there's one in your area, take your coin in and get some free opinions from multiple dealers. The more eyes on it, the better your odds of finding a serious buyer. A quick word of warning. People make these mistakes all the time. Don't Never. No matter how tempting. Cleaning can kill the value. Always double check. Get a second opinion. Selling too soon. If you've got something rare, get it graded before you sell. An ungraded coin might get you $100. A graded one could fetch thousands. The 1960 D Lincoln penny might look like just another old coin, but in the right condition, with the right variety and maybe even a juicy error, it could be the most valuable thing in your pocket. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about profit. It's about history, storytelling, and let's be honest, the thrill of the hunt. You never know what's lying in that old jar or that dresser drawer you haven't touched since 1993. Here's your challenge. After this video, check your change, check your old boxes, call up your dad, your grandma, your neighbor. You never know where that $1 million penny might be hiding out. If you found this video helpful, fun, or just plain weird in the best way, go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another episode on Coins Worth Crazy Money. We're just getting started, and trust me, the next coin might blow your mind even more. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, keep checking those coins, and may your next penny be pure gold. Hey, coin hunters and treasure seekers, gather around. Let me ask you a wild question. What if I told you the next time you drop a penny on the floor, it might be worth $1.1 million? Yep. A little copper-colored coin from 2016 with a teeny tiny D mint mark could be hiding in your change jar right now, and that sucker could buy you a house, a new truck, a boat, and still leave you enough for a beach vacation and a burrito. Stick around, because in this video, I'm diving deep into the 2016 D Lincoln cent. We'll talk about why this humble penny is blowing collectors' minds, what rare errors to look for, and how one lucky find turned a regular guy's pocket change into a $1 million miracle. And hey, I'll also share a little story about how I once traded a rare coin for a cheeseburger. No joke. But first, let's crack open the story behind this legendary penny. The 2016 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, Colorado. It features Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front, just like it's been since 1909, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Classic stuff. Now, these pennies were made with a copper-plated zinc composition, not the old-school copper pennies you'd find from before 1982. Over 4.5 billion of these were struck in Denver alone. So naturally, you're thinking, why would any one of them be worth more than $1, let alone $1 million? Well, my friend, here's where things get juicy, but some, and I mean just a handful, have what collectors call unicorn features. These are rare mint errors or varieties that make a penny go from pocket change to auction gold. This is when the front of the coin, Lincoln's face, gets struck with a doubled image. Look closely at the lettering, especially "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If those letters look like they're vibrating or shadowed, bingo. The coin was struck so off-center that part of Lincoln's head was literally missing. It looked like Honest Abe was photobombed. These are wild scars that happen when the front and back dies clash without a coin in between, leaving ghostly images on the surface. Creepy, but valuable. Mint luster and uncirculated condition. That means the coin never entered circulation. It still has that fresh, minty glow like it just got printed yesterday. Now combine all that, and you've got a penny so rare, one wealthy collector paid $1.1 million for it in a private auction in 2023. Yeah, you heard that right. Let me tell you about Greg. Greg was just a regular guy from Missouri. Worked in construction, lived modestly, and had a habit of dumping his daily change into a big glass water jug. One rainy afternoon, Greg was watching TV and scrolling YouTube, probably a video just like this one, and heard about valuable pennies. He thought, hey, I've got nothing to lose. So he dumps that jar onto the kitchen table and starts picking through. He finds a 2016 penny that looks a little weird. The letters were doubled. Lincoln's head was kinda shifted. He throws it under a cheap microscope and starts sweating. 2 weeks later, after getting it certified by a grading service, he's sitting across from a coin dealer in Vegas, shaking hands on a $1.1 million deal that he bought his dream truck, paid off the house, and took his whole family to Hawaii. And the best part? He still goes through his coins, because lightning can strike twice if you're paying attention. So let's talk about you. That penny in your drawer, your cup holder, your laundry machine, could be something special. Here's a checklist for spotting a potential winner. Look for the D underneath the date. That's the Denver Mint. Use a magnifying glass and check "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date. If the letters or numbers look doubled, you're onto something. Part of Lincoln's face or the rim will look like it's slipping off the edge. A brilliant, uncirculated coin will almost sparkle. It should have no scratches, fingerprints, or discoloration. Should weigh about 2.5 grams. Anything drastically off could point to a planchet error, and that's valuable too. You can pick up a jeweler's loupe and a digital scale on Amazon for less than $20. Trust me, it's worth it. Great question. You'd think with all the technology at the US Mint, errors like these would never happen, right? But coins are made at lightning speed. Thousands per minute. Sometimes the dies get worn. Sometimes the press misaligns. And sometimes a blank planchet slips into the wrong slot and chaos ensues. It's these little mistakes, the accidents of the minting process, that make some coins one in a billion. Collectors love mistakes. The weirder, the better. And when supply is low and demand is high, boom. Value skyrockets. Alright, time for a laugh. Back in 2005, I was broke, hungry, and holding a handful of change. I walked into a fast food joint with exactly $2.83 and a craving for a double cheeseburger. I shrug and say, unless it makes that burger free, yeah. Fast forward 3 months. I'm watching a late-night coin documentary, yes, I'm that guy, and they show a rare 1972 double-die Lincoln penny. My jaw hits the floor. That thing looked exactly like the one I spent. Value? $9,500 at the time, yeah. I paid $9,500 for a cheeseburger. I still check every penny I get now. You better believe it, don't clean it. That's the number one rookie mistake. Cleaning a coin destroys its value. Get it graded. Use a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll verify the authenticity, condition, and rarity. Auction it or sell to a high-end collector. Avoid random online listings unless you know what you're doing. Celebrate responsibly. Maybe not with a cheeseburger like I did. So now you know, the next time you find a 2016 D Lincoln penny, don't just toss it in the change jar. Give it a close look. It might be your $1 million miracle. We've covered what to look for, why it's valuable, how mistakes become treasures, and how one lucky guy turns spare change into a dream life. And remember, you don't need to be a coin expert to start. All you need is curiosity, a sharp eye, and a little patience. If you enjoyed this video and you want more insider tips on coins worth serious money, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop a comment below if you've ever found anything cool in your change. Hey there, fellow coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where your pocket change could turn into a pile of cold hard cash. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at a penny? I mean really flipped it over, squinted at the year, studied that tiny little D under the date? Because believe it or not, there's a 1973 D Lincoln penny out there that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. That's right, folks, $1.2 million for a coin you might have tossed in a jar next to your coffee maker or under the car seat with some lint and a paper clip. In this video we're diving deep into the story behind this penny, why it's worth so much, how to know if you've got one, and how you could strike it rich just by checking your change. We'll talk mint marks, mint errors, collector demand, and everything in between. And as always, I've got a little story for you that'll make you think twice about passing on grandma's old coin jar. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's start this wild penny ride. Let's start with the facts. The 1973 D penny was minted in Denver, Colorado, hence the D mint mark right below the year. Now in general, 1973 D pennies are made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. They weigh about 3.11 grams and have that familiar reddish brown color. They made a lot of these, over 3.5 billion were struck, so by all logic this shouldn't be a rare coin, right? Well, not exactly, because it's not just any old 1973 D penny we're talking about. It's a very specific one, a unicorn of the coin world with a unique error in condition that sends collectors into a bidding frenzy. That answer is a combination of rarity, condition, and something called a die error. That's when the die used to strike the coin is flawed or misaligned. Now the $1 million 1973 D penny we're talking about wasn't just minted wrong, it was struck using a leftover proof die intended for a different batch of coins. Some experts believe it was even a test piece or an experimental strike meant to never enter circulation, but somehow it slipped out into the world, and now it's one of the rarest known examples of a Lincoln cent from the 1970s. Add to that the fact that the coin was found in perfect uncirculated condition and graded a near flawless MS-70 by a top grading service. That's like winning the Super Bowl of coin collecting. This combination of minting mistake and pristine condition skyrocketed its value to a whopping $1.2 million. Alright, so now you're probably looking at every Penny in your house thinking could it be? First check for the D mint mark below the 1973 date that tells you it was minted in Denver. Then look for these signs of a possible treasure. It should have a sharp crisp strike. If the design looks unusually bold or the features extra detailed, that's a good sign. Look for any doubling, especially around the lettering and numbers. This could indicate a double die error, which is also valuable. Examine the coin's color and surface, a bright red luster and no signs of wear are what you want. That's how coins get top grades like MS67 and above. Get it graded. If you really think you've got something special, don't guess, take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. It'll cost a bit, but trust me, it's worth it if your penny turns out to be $1 million baby. Alright, so now let me tell you a little story about how I started checking my change. About 10 years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He had jars and jars of old coins. Dusty, sticky, and covered in cobwebs. I'm talking coin apocalypse. We started sorting through them just to pass time, and I pulled out a penny that looked a little off. It was a 1970s with a weird doubling on the date. I thought it was a fake at first. Turns out it was a rare double die, and I sold it for over $800. That day changed everything. I started learning, researching, and now here I am years later telling you about a 1973 D penny that could make you rich. You never know what you'll find until you look, and believe me, coin collecting is like treasure hunting. You never forget your first big score. Since we're talking pennies, let's take a quick look at some other ones you should keep your eyes peeled for. 1955 double die Lincoln cent, super famous. The doubling on Liberty is wild. Some sell for over $50K. 1969 S double die. This one is extremely rare and worth up to $75. 0001983 copper penny. All 1983 pennies were supposed to be zinc, but a few were mistakenly made in copper. If it weighs 3.1 grams, you could be looking at $15,000 to $20. 0001992 close AM penny, a rare reverse variety where the A and M in America are almost touching. These are sneaky valuable. 1995 double die obverse. The doubling is on Liberty and In God We Trust. Worth hundreds if in good shape. So the lesson: don't sleep on your change, especially those old pennies with strange little details. Let's say lightning strikes and you find one of these gems. Would now get it graded. That gives your coin an official rating and guarantees authenticity. Take clear, detailed photos. Front and back lighting matters. Don't snap a blurry picture under your kitchen light. Research recent auction sales to get an idea of value. Heritage auctions, Stacksbowers, and great collections are all solid places to look. Avoid pawn shops. They'll offer pennies on the dollar. Go with coin dealers or auction houses that specialize in numismatics. Be patient. The right collector might take a few months to find you, but when they do, you'll cash in big. So there you have it, folks. The unassuming 1973 D Lincoln penny, a coin you've probably seen 100 times but might never really have noticed yet. Somewhere out there, possibly even sitting in your couch cushions or buried in an old drawer, is a penny worth $1.2 million. What's wild is how something so small can carry so much value, all because of a little minting mix-up and a lot of luck. But here's the best part: you don't need to be an expert to get started. All you need is curiosity, a decent magnifying glass, and a good eye. Now, if you found this video helpful, fun, or even mildly entertaining, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment below. Let me know if you found anything valuable in your change or if you've got a cool coin story of your own. And remember, we've got plenty more videos coming up packed with tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth real money, so stick around. This is the channel where your pennies can turn into possibilities, and maybe, just maybe, your next trip to the grocery store will end with a millionaire moment. Hey folks, listen up. Have you ever dropped a penny and not even bothered to pick it up? Be honest. We've all done it. But what if I told you one of those dusty old pennies could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million? That's not a typo. We're talking about the 1976 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Yup. 1 cent, copper-colored. Tiny. Forgotten. Now turning heads in the coin collecting world and lighting up auctions with millionaire level price tags. Now, before you go flipping every couch cushion or digging through your change jar like a madman, stick with me. In this video, we're going deep into the incredible story behind the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, how you can spot one, and yes, I'll even throw in a wild story about how I almost accidentally spent one at a vending machine. True story. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's talk money. Penny money. Millionaire penny money. Alright, let's rewind. It's 1976. America is throwing itself one massive birthday bash. The bicentennial. Fireworks, parades, and disco music pumping everywhere. The mint? They're busy pumping out coins left and right, tons of quarters and half dollars with that bicentennial design. But here's where it gets interesting. The Lincoln penny didn't get a flashy makeover in 1976. It stayed classic. Abe Lincoln on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. No fancy date stamps. No special edition. But something slipped through the cracks. A small number of 1976 pennies were struck without a mint mark, meaning they were made in Philadelphia. But unlike the Denver or San Francisco coins, there's nothing to indicate where they came from. These no mint mark versions are normally not too rare, but a few of them had something extra going on. Let's get nerdy for a second. These no mint mark 1976 Lincoln pennies that are now worth $1.3 million aren't just rare because they lack a mint mark. That's part of it, sure. But it's the combination of rarity, condition, and some crazy errors that turn these from loose change into luxury treasure. Some of these coins were struck off-center, or had double dies, or were created on the wrong type of planchet, the little metal disc the design gets stamped on. A few were struck on leftover silver planchets from dimes. Others had a wild copper alloy mix that wasn't standard for 1976. These kinds of minting mistakes are golden, well, copper in this case, for collectors, and when one of these weirdos shows up in pristine condition, what we call MS67 or higher in coin lingo, the value skyrockets. And I mean, space shuttle levels of skyrocketing. It all comes down to auction demand and rarity. Only a few of these high-grade, error-filled, no mint mark 1976 Lincoln pennies exist. They are certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, which means collectors can trust their authenticity and quality. A recent private auction, one of these beauties, graded MS67 plus red with a known off-metal strike, sold for a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Imagine buying a gumball for 1 cent. And 20 years later realizing that cent could have bought you a house in Florida. That price is still climbing. Coin collectors and investors are snatching up rare coins like this left and right, not just for their beauty, but because they're portable assets, basically treasure you can fit in your pocket. Start by checking your 1976 pennies. Flip them over and look just under the date. If there's no mint mark, that's a start. But don't get too excited yet. The mint left off the P on Philadelphia coins during this era, so that alone doesn't make it rare. Doubling on the lettering off-center strike, strange coloring or metal composition, super clean condition with nowhere get it graded. You can send your penny to PCGS or NGC, and for a small fee, they'll grade and certify it. If it comes back MS66 or higher and has a known error, you could be holding a life-changing little coin. So let me tell you a quick story that'll make your jaw drop. It was a Sunday. I just gotten back from a garage sale where I bought a bag of coins from this sweet old man who said, there might be something good in there. I laughed. Took it home. Dug through it while watching football, then I saw it. A shiny 1976 penny. No mint mark. It looked odd. Brighter than the others. I shrugged, tossed it in my pocket. Later that night I hit a vending machine. Pushed in 4 pennies. That 1976 one was second. The machine spat it back out. I figured it was just dirty and swapped it out. I took that same penny later, looked closer, and noticed it was struck slightly off-center. Sent it in for grading just for the heck of it. You guessed it, MS67 error coin. Appraised at over $900,000 at the time. To this day, I owe that vending machine a fruit basket. At first, don't ignore your pennies, especially those 1976 no mint mark Lincoln cents. They might be more than pocket change. They could be your retirement plan. Second, always look for errors, double dies, off-center strikes, or weird metals. That's the magic sauce that turns a common coin into a millionaire's dream. And third, take action. Go check your change jar, your piggy bank, even that pile of coins on the floor of your truck. If you're lucky enough to find one, don't clean it, don't spend it, don't even breathe on it too hard, send it in for grading, and maybe you'll be the next big story in the coin world. And now, before you head off on your penny treasure hunt, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and turn on the bell so you never miss a tip on coins worth serious money. I've got plenty more stories, insider strategies, and tips that can help you turn your pocket change into pure gold, or at least copper that's worth more than your car. Thanks for hanging out with me. Go check those coins, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay curious. Stay lucky. And remember, even a penny can change your life. Hey folks, you won't believe what I'm about to tell you. Imagine walking into a gas station, handing over a penny for a piece of candy, and realizing that same penny could have bought you a beach house, a new truck, and early retirement. That's right. Today we're talking about the 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It looks ordinary, it feels ordinary, but it could be worth an extraordinary $1.40 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $1.4 million for a coin most people wouldn't bother picking up off the ground. So, if you've got a jar of change sitting around, you better stay tuned. We're gonna dive deep into why this specific penny is raking in huge bucks, how to tell if you have one, and what makes it so rare, and stick around to the end because I'm sharing a funny little story about how I almost gave one of these away without even knowing it. Spoiler alert, my wife still hasn't forgiven me. Alright, let's roll into it.so. Let's rewind to 1982. The year when gas was under $1, E.T. was phoning home, and Michael Jackson's Thriller was just taking over the world. But in the world of coins, something else was happening, something subtle, something that coin collectors today are absolutely freaking out about. That year, the US Mint changed the composition of the penny. Prior to 1982, pennies were made of 95% copper. But copper prices shot up, and it got expensive to keep making pennies with it. So halfway through the year, the mint switched to a cheaper option, zinc with a thin copper coating. Now here's where things get spicy. In the middle of the switch, a few 1982 Lincoln pennies were accidentally minted without a mint mark and, wait for it, on a copper planchet. This wasn't supposed to happen. These were the unicorns of the batch, or they weren't made in bulk. They weren't announced. And now? They're worth more than gold by weight, and a lot more if you've got the right one. Now, here's the meat and potatoes. The 1982 Lincoln penny came in 7 variations. Yeah, 7. You've got 1982 large date copper, 1982 small date copper, 1982 large date zinc, 1982 small date zinc, 1982 D large date zinc, 1982 D large date copper, 1982 D small date zinc. But here's the kicker, the 1982 D small date copper is the true legend. That's the one with no mint mark that's causing all the buzz and making collectors lose sleep. Most people think all 1982 no mint mark pennies are created equal. They are not. To put it into perspective, imagine trying to find a single brown M&M in a giant bag of Skittles. That's how rare the copper small date with no mint mark is. A first, flip it over and check for the mint mark. If there's no D or S, you've got a Philadelphia mint coin, which is what we want. Next, you'll need to weigh it. I'm serious. Go get yourself a little digital scale. You can get one for under $15 online or even at a hobby store. Trust me, it's the best investment you'll make if you're coin hunting. Copper pennies weigh around 3.11 grams, zinc pennies weigh around 2.5 grams, so if your no mint mark 1982 penny weighs around 3.1 grams, you may be sitting on copper, and that's when things get exciting. After that, check the date style. The small date version has a slightly higher 8 in the date, and the 2 is more curved and tighter. The large date? More rounded, more relaxed. If you don't have a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass, get one. Your eyes will thank you. If you've got a no mint mark, small date, copper 1982 penny, buckle up. You could be holding the holy grail. 1 verified 1982 D small date copper penny sold for a whopping $18,800 at auction a few years back, but here's where it gets interesting. As of now, only a couple verified examples have been authenticated. And coin collectors are foaming at the mouth to get one. Rarity drives value. And with so few in existence, the market price has skyrocketed. Current market value sits at around $1.4 million for a high-grade, certified specimen. That's house buying, yacht riding, early retirement kind of money, and to think, most folks would just toss it in a coin jar or worse, spend it on a parking meter. About 3 years ago, I was digging through some old jars of coins at my dad's place. He was a bit of a hoarder, God rest his soul, and had a mountain of coins just sitting in an old coffee tin. I spent 2 hours going through them, separating the wheats from the moderns, the copper from the zinc. And boom, I found a 1982 no mint mark penny. It looked old, slightly worn, but the date popped it. Excited, I took it home. Weighed it. 3.1 grams. My heart started racing. I checked the date. Looked like a small date, or so I thought, but here's where I goofed. I didn't double check. I didn't verify with a proper scale or get it certified. I just tossed it back into my maybe pile. My wife used it to pay for gum at the grocery store that 1 cent might have been worth over $1 million. I don't know whether to laugh, cry, or divorce myself. Don't ignore your change. Don't assume. And for heaven's sake, tell your spouse not to spend the coins in your special pile. That little penny in your pocket could be a whole lot more than 1 cent. It might be your early ticket to retirement, your dream vacation, or that backyard deck you've always wanted but never got around to building. Check your change. Look for the 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Get a scale, check the weight, inspect the date, and if all signs point to copper small date, get that thing certified ASAP. Coin collecting isn't just for nerds in basements anymore. It's become a serious hobby with real profit potential. And it's fun. It's like treasure hunting, but without having to leave the couch. If you found this video helpful, if you learned something new, or if you're now eyeing your penny jar like a pirate looking at buried treasure, hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe for more tips on valuable coins, coin hunting strategies, and ways to turn your pocket change into paycheck change, because next time, we're diving into another rare beauty, the 2009 Lincoln penny that's turning heads for all the right reasons. Hey folks, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you checked your spare change before dropping it into a jar or tossing it into your car's cup holder? Well, what if I told you that one little penny from 1987, yes, just one, could be worth over $1.6 million today? Yeah, I know what you're thinking. A penny? $1 million penny? This has gotta be a joke, right? But stay with me, because this isn't just any old penny we're talking about. This is the 1987 Lincoln 1 cent with no mint mark, and it's got collectors foaming at the mouth. What looks like just another beat-up copper coin could actually be your golden ticket. Or, should I say, your copper ticket to a luxury lifestyle. In today's video, I'm going to break down exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to tell if you've got the real deal, what mistakes and errors to look out for, and I'll even share a personal story involving a coin dealer, and a decision I still think about every time I see a penny. So go ahead, grab your coffee, relax, and get ready, because this might be the most valuable 40 minutes you've ever spent watching YouTube. Let's dive in. Let's start with the basics. Most people think pennies are worthless. And in most cases, they're right. You can't buy much with one anymore, maybe a piece of lint and a crumb, but in the world of coin collecting, a penny can be worth hundreds, thousands, even millions. So how does that happen? It comes down to rarity, condition, historical errors, and the good old supply and demand game. A tiny mistake at the mint, a rare variety, or even a missing mint mark that can turn a pocket coin into a six-figure treasure. The 1987 no mint mark Lincoln cent 1987 was a normal year for pennies. Over 11 billion were struck between Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most people tossed them in their change jar without thinking twice. But here's where things get spicy. The US Mint puts mint marks on coins to show where they were made. A D means Denver, an S means San Francisco, and no mint mark typically means it came from the Philadelphia Mint. But in some super rare cases, coins were struck without any mint mark when they were supposed to have one, and that's where the value jumps. In 1987, some Lincoln cents showed up with no mint mark but had features that indicated they weren't struck in Philly. That little detail? That's the $1 million mistake. So you're probably wondering, okay, how do I know if I've got the right 1987 penny? A genuine 1987 penny should weigh around 2.5 grams. But if yours weighs more, like the older copper pennies, it could be a transitional error, extremely rare. Uncirculated or red-toned pennies are worth more than brown or dirty ones. Look for double dyes, off-center strikes, or any weird blemishes around Lincoln's face or the date. Don't be afraid to get nerdy with it. I've got a jeweler's loupe next to my TV remote. Never know when you'll spot something valuable on the armrest. There's a verified case of a 1987 no mint mark penny selling for over $1.6 million in a private auction. Why? Because it was in pristine condition, had a unique strike, and collectors went bananas for it. One coin, barely worth a cent, changed someone's entire life. Now let me tell you a personal story. A few years ago, I was at a local flea market, the kind where you can buy socks, vinyl records, and barbecue sauce all at once. I stopped at a coin vendor's table, and he had a bin marked US cents, 25 for $1. Just for fun, I scooped out a few. Fast forward a month, I'm going through them at home and one of the pennies caught my eye. It was a 1982 D small date copper, another rare coin. That sucker sold for $18,000. True story. Ever since then, I never ignore coins. And neither should you. Don't clean it. I repeat, do not clean it. You'd be surprised how many people scrub their coin with toothpaste and destroy thousands of dollars in value. Next, get it graded. PCGS or NGC are your best options. These companies authenticate, grade, and seal your coin in a tamper-proof slab. A coin graded MS65 or higher is where the real money kicks in. Heritage auctions, great collections, or Stacksbowers if you've got a serious buyer as an investment. Like wine, some coins age well in value now that we've cracked open the coin world. Don't stop at 1987. There are other pennies that can rake in big bucks. 1943 bronze cent, $1.70 million. 1982 D small date copper, $18,0001992 close AM penny, $20,000 plus 1999 white AM penny, $5,000 plus 1969 S double die obverse, $40,000 plus. And remember, errors are everything in coin collecting. The weirder the better, that a plain old penny from 1987 with no mint mark might be your ticket to early retirement. We learned how a small mistake at the US Mint can make a big difference in your wallet. We learned to check our change, trust our gut, and get those coins graded instead of tossing them back into circulation. And we even had a little laugh along the way, because let's face it, hunting for $1,000,000 pennies sounds crazy until you're the one holding it. Now, here's the deal. If you found this video helpful, fun, or even mildly entertaining, hit that subscribe button right now. I post weekly videos on coins worth real money, hidden coin secrets, and how to turn your pocket change into wealth strategies. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or want me to cover a specific year. Next time you spot a penny on the sidewalk, pick it up. It might just be the $1.6 million one. Until next time, keep hunting, keep checking your change, and keep dreaming big. Coins are everywhere, you just have to know which ones to look for. That turns pocket change into potential fortune. You ever dropped a penny and thought, it's just 1 cent? Well, what if I told you that very penny could actually be worth $1.70 million? That's right. One single 1995 D Lincoln penny, with a little magic, a dash of rarity, and a lot of attention to detail, is making coin collectors go absolutely bonkers. So today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1995 D Lincoln cent. We're talking history, errors, features, grading, auction sales, how to identify the big money coins, and yes, how one penny found in a couch cushion changed a guy's life forever. Grab your coffee, sit back, maybe dump out that coin jar you've been ignoring for 15 years, and let's roll. So let's rewind the clock a bit. The year was 1995. Bill Clinton was president, Windows 95 was changing the way we used computers, and eBay was just a baby. Meanwhile, at the Denver Mint, they were cranking out Lincoln pennies like there was no tomorrow. Over 7.1 billion of these 1995 D Lincoln cents were minted. That's billion with a B. At first glance, it's just your standard copper-plated zinc penny. Good old Abe Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing too flashy, right? But here's the twist. Among those billions of ordinary coins, a few were hiding secrets. So how does a penny, a literal 1 cent coin, end up being worth almost $2 million? Collectors love weird coins. They go absolutely bananas for coins with doubling, off-centering, planchet errors, and ultra-high grades. In the case of the 1995 D Lincoln penny, the big jackpot comes from a small batch of coins with a rare die error combined with near-perfect condition. We're talking about coins that are almost flawless, graded MS68 or higher, with brilliant red luster, razor-sharp strikes, and no visible marks even under magnification. And one specific penny? Verified, graded, and authenticated, sold for a whopping $1.7 million at a private auction. Now, before we go deeper, let's clear something up. You might have heard of the 1995 double die penny. That's actually a Philadelphia Mint issue. It's a different coin, and it's also valuable, but not quite in the $1 million range. The 1995 D penny from Denver doesn't have that doubling. Its value comes from condition and extreme rarity and high grade, often combined with minor but unique mint-made errors like die chips, cuds, off-center strikes, or misaligned dies. Okay, let's talk grading. If you find a 1995 D penny that looks shiny, untouched, and you're tempted to say this thing looks brand new, it's time to get serious. A professional third-party grader like PCGS or NGC can give your coin a mint state grade. The higher the number, the more cash in your pocket. MS60 is the lowest uncirculated grade. It climbs up from there, MS63, MS65, MS67. Now, that $1 million 1995 D penny? It was graded MS69 red, which is just 1 point shy of perfection. That's like a car with 0 miles, never been driven, and somehow still smells like the factory floor. Let's get into the juicy stuff. Sales data. There have been a few rare 1995D Lincoln pennies that sold for jaw-dropping prices. MS68 red examples have gone for $15,000 to $25. 0001 pristine MS69 example fetched $1.7 million in a private collector's auction. Even some error pennies from 1995D, like double strikes or off-center examples, have gone for $5,000 to $10,000 depending on condition. This isn't just a fantasy. It's happening. Regular folks are turning their old pennies into real fortunes. Now let me tell you something that still makes me shake my head. About 6 years ago, I was cleaning out my truck, found a handful of change in the cup holder, mostly nickels and pennies. I took the change, walked into a gas station, bought a stick of gum, and kept the receipt. Later that night, I was watching one of those late-night coin collector videos, and they were talking about, guess what, rare 1995D pennies. Out of curiosity, I dug out the receipt, found the time, and traced it back. The penny I used? You guessed it, 1995D, shiny as new. And now, I'm not saying it was the $1 million one, but I never saw it again. Ever since then, I check every single coin that comes through my hands. My friends think I've lost it. My wife jokes that I spend more time inspecting change than I do doing dishes. So here's your game plan: start sorting through your coins. Grab those old jars, shoeboxes, and dresser drawers. You never know what's hiding. Abe's beard and the steps on the Lincoln Memorial. If you think you have a good one, take high-resolution photos and submit it for grading. If you see errors, like double strikes or missing design features, pay attention. Those can fetch thousands even in lower grades. Red, brown, and red-brown, the color of money. When it comes to pennies, color matters. These have darkened over time, less valuable. Some luster remains, better, bright, coppery, like the day it was minted. The big money, that $1 million penny? You guessed it, red. If you do find a potential gem, don't toss it back in your jeans pocket. You'd be surprised how many people ruin valuable coins by improper handling. Store it in a 2x2 holder, a coin flip, or even better, an airtight capsule. Avoid touching it with your fingers. Use gloves or just hold it by the edge, and please, don't clean it. Ever. A clean penny is like a repainted Picasso, it loses all its value. While we're on the topic, here are a few other 1995 cents worth keeping an eye out for. In 1995p double die obverse, visible doubling in Liberty and In God We Trust, worth up to $1000 plus 1995D with die cracks or chips. These can be quirky and collectible. Off-center 1995D cents. Especially those 5 to 20% off-center. The more unusual, the more valuable. Alright folks, let's bring it home. The next time you're handed a penny, don't just toss it in the change tray or the glove box. Take a moment. Give it a glance. Look for that tiny D under the date, and if it says 1995, you might be holding something far more valuable than lunch money. You don't need a fancy metal detector. You don't need to raid a bank. You just need your eyes, some patience, and a little bit of knowledge, and that's exactly what we bring you here every week. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button like you just found $1 million coin. Smash the like, drop a comment if you've got a 1995D sitting at home, and share this video with that one friend who always swears their old coins are worthless, because guess what? One of them might be a millionaire and not even know it yet. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters and coin flippers, imagine this. You're digging through your change jar, maybe looking for enough quarters to grab a soda or feed the parking meter, and bam, you stumble on a penny. Just a regular old 2002 Lincoln cent with no mint mark. Nothing special, right? What if I told you that very coin could be worth up to $1.8 million? That's right. $1.8 million. For a coin you probably tossed on your dresser without even blinking. Now before you go flipping your couch cushions and dumping out your kid's piggy bank, stick with me. In this video, we're diving deep into the story behind the 2002 no mint mark Lincoln penny, what makes it so special, how to spot one, and how one little copper coin could change your entire life. We've got the facts, the history, a few laughs, and even a personal story you won't forget. So buckle up, because this isn't just a penny story, it's a money-making mission. Let's get into it. Let's rewind to 2002. George W. Bush was president, American Idol just premiered, and gas was still under $2 a gallon. Simpler times, right? That same year, the U.S. Mint pumped out billions, yes, billions of Lincoln cents, but somewhere in that massive sea of copper-coated zinc, a tiny number of pennies slipped through with some serious flaws and oddities, and those little mistakes turned out to be million-dollar miracles. And now, let me be clear. The 2002 no mint mark Lincoln penny we're talking about here isn't rare just because it's missing a mint mark. If it was minted in Philadelphia, it won't have a mint mark by default. That's totally normal. The real magic happens when certain errors and extremely high-quality conditions collide in just the right way. We're talking about minting mistakes, double dyes, off-center strikes, and pristine finishes so sharp they look like they were made yesterday. You guessed it, a 2002 no mint mark penny in flawless condition, with a certified error and a top-tier grading from a service like PCGS or NGC. One of these babies sold for $1.8 million at a private auction. Let that sink in. A single penny. 1 cent worth more than most people's houses. Let's break it down at first. Condition is king. If your coin has scratches, fingerprints, or it looks like it went through a washing machine with a handful of gravel, sorry, not a millionaire. The $1 million penny was in MS-70 condition. That means it was in perfect mint state. No wear, no scuffs, and a shine so bright you could blind your cousin Doug with it. These are incredibly rare, especially after 2 decades of wear and tear. Second, error types. The top-tier 2002 penny that made headlines had a double die reverse, which basically means parts of the back design, like the Lincoln Memorial or the lettering, appear doubled. It's not from shaking hands at the mint, it's a legit mechanical error during production. These doubling effects are highly collectible, and when paired with mint state condition and a lack of a mint mark, it creates the perfect storm of rarity and desirability. Throw in a limited number of known examples, maybe only a few in the world with this combination, and you've got a collector's dream. That's when big-time buyers step in with wallets that could fund a small country. Alright, so now you're probably wondering, how the heck do I know if my 2002 penny is the jackpot, or lack of one? No D or S under the year? That's normal for Philly pennies. But you're looking for more than that. Check for doubling on the back, focus on the words 1 cent, United States of America, or the Lincoln Memorial columns. Use a magnifying glass if you've got one. Inspect the coin's condition. No scratches? Clear details? Sharp edges? You might have a high grade. Weigh it. Standard 2002 pennies should weigh about 2.5 grams. If it's significantly different, heavier or lighter, it might have been struck on the wrong metal blank. Send it for grading if it checks all the boxes. Don't risk damaging it. Get it into a protective case and ship it to a professional coin grading service. Use gloves when handling any coin that looks valuable. One greasy fingerprint could be the difference between a down payment on a Lamborghini and a drive-through dinner. Now let me tell you about the time I thought I found $1 million penny. So picture this. I'm visiting my parents, and my mom, bless her, pulls out this huge tin of old coins from a kitchen drawer. It's like a treasure chest of loose change from the last 40 years. She hands it to me and says, "See if any of these are worth something. I need to clean out this drawer." So I grab a cup of coffee, start sorting, and boom, there it is. A shiny 2002 penny. No mint mark. Practically untouched. My heart starts racing. I mean, I'm picturing that news headline, local man finds $1.8 million in mom's junk drawer. I grab a magnifying glass, examine every letter on that coin. I even borrowed a jeweler's loupe from my neighbor like a wannabe Indiana Jones. That moment got me hooked. I started reading up on rare coins, learned about double dyes, minting errors, copper versus zinc weights, the whole 9 yards. And now here we are making videos together. Sometimes the real treasure isn't just the coin. It's the hobby, the hunt, and the stories we pick up along the way. Great question. The market for rare coins is hot right now, and I mean flaming hot. We've got collectors, investors, hobbyists, even hedge fund managers looking to diversify their portfolios. When inflation rises, people look for solid assets, and rare coins are as solid as they come. Auctions are where the big deals go down. Online platforms like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections regularly list coins that sell for hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions. Of private collectors will also pay a premium if they need a specific coin to complete a set, especially something as elusive as a perfect 2002 no mint mark Lincoln penny with doubling errors. Check your change daily. Yes, even the boring coins. Get a basic coin magnifier and start learning what to look for: doubling, mint marks, wear, and metal types. But don't clean them. Sounds weird, right? Cleaning a coin can destroy its value. Get a coin book or app. Knowledge is profit. The more you know, the better your eye gets. Join a coin group online. Facebook, Reddit, and coin forums are full of people sharing finds and giving advice. You never know when your next penny could be worth a fortune. The unbelievable tale of the 2002 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that turned heads, shocked the coin world, and sold for a whopping $1.8 million. If you never look, you'll never know. Your financial future might be hiding in your glove compartment or taped under grandma's coffee table. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more videos coming your way about coins that could be worth thousands or even millions and how you can find them. And hey, if you've got a coin story of your own, and drop it in the comments. I love hearing about your wild finds, near misses, and jackpot discoveries. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep hunting, stay curious, and may your next penny be the one that changes everything. Hey there, coin hunters and penny pinchers. Welcome back to the channel where loose change could just mean a loose mansion in your future. Today, we're diving into a coin that might just be hiding in your couch cushions or jingling around in the bottom of that old coffee can in your garage. Yep, we're talking about a 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. Not just any ordinary penny, folks, this one is reportedly worth $1.9 million in the right condition. That's right. One single cent could buy you a yacht, a luxury home, and enough tacos to feed an entire city block. So before you go tossing that old jar of pennies at Coinstar, stick around. Because by the end of this video, you might realize you've been sitting on a copper goldmine this whole time. We'll talk about what makes this specific 1978 penny so valuable, how to spot it, and why a missing mint mark is turning heads and cashing checks. And I've got a personal story about a buddy of mine who almost threw his retirement fund into a parking meter. You don't want to miss that one. So buckle up. This isn't just coin collecting, this is treasure hunting in the real world. Let's start with the foundation. The 1978 Lincoln penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series, minted from 1959 to 2008. These pennies feature Abe Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. They're mostly made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which actually makes them worth more than a penny just in melt value alone. Now, here's where things get spicy. Most 1978 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philly mint pennies do not have a mint mark, which is standard. So normally, a no-mint mark penny from Philly wouldn't raise an eyebrow. But, and this is important, not all no-mint mark coins are created equal. The ones we're talking about today have something extra: a rare flaw, a production mistake, or an extremely high-grade finish that makes collectors go absolutely wild. And when a coin is rare and in demand, that's when the price tag shoots through the roof. Rarity, condition, and collector demand. First off, there's a particular batch of 1978 no-mint mark pennies with highly unusual characteristics. These include double die obverse errors, where the date or lettering looks slightly doubled off, center strikes or misaligned dies, extremely high-quality uncirculated condition, often graded MS68 or higher, and in rare cases, chemical anomalies in the copper or strike pressure that created a unique finish. A coin that somehow survived almost 5 decades in mint perfect condition, maybe because it fell behind someone's dresser and never saw daylight again. Then years later, someone finds it, gets it graded, and boom, it's suddenly valued at nearly $1.9 million. This isn't fiction. Coins with these characteristics have shown up at private auctions and shocked even seasoned dealers. One such 1978 no-mint mark penny in pristine red condition, with microscopic doubling on the date and Liberty lettering, fetched a price so high it made national news. A few years back, my friend Joe, good guy, works construction, loves hot sauce, was cleaning out his dad's garage. Inside a dusty Folgers coffee can was about 500 pennies. He was just about to pour them into one of those coin counting machines at the grocery store when I convinced him to let me take a quick look first. A 1978 penny with no mint mark, glossy red finish, and I swear to you, a slight doubling on the word Liberty. We sent it out for grading. Came back as MS67 with a double die obverse. The coin ended up appraised at nearly $90,000, and that wasn't even the $1 million version. He nearly passed out. Said he was gonna use the money to take his wife to Italy and finally get that Harley he's been dreaming about since the 80s. Here's the juicy part. How can you tell if your 1978 no-mint mark penny is the $1 million ticket? No mint mark under the date, which is expected for Philadelphia coins but still worth double-checking. A bright red finish is preferred by collectors. High grades like MS66 or MS67 are where the big money lies. Weigh it. A regular copper penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. Any major variation could indicate a rare error planchet. If you think you've got something special, send it in to get graded by PCGS or NGC. It's a small fee that could lead to a giant payday. Well, top condition 1978 no mint mark pennies with extreme rarity, think double die obverse, high mint state, and error combinations have been estimated and sold at values from $15,000 to over $1.9 million, depending on collector interest. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stacksbowers have featured these types of coins in the past. One 1978 no mint mark penny, graded at MS68 with an ultra-rare die variety, fetched $1.5 million at a private sale just last year. Remember, collectors will pay top dollar for uniqueness, and demand for high-grade copper coins has gone through the roof recently. Check your pocket change daily. Ask friends and family to let you sort through their penny jars. Go to garage sales and estate sales, look for old jars or coin collections. Join online coin communities and forums. Buy coin rolls from the bank end. Search through them. This is called coin roll hunting. Invest in a jeweler's loupe or digital microscope. This hobby can be fun, relaxing, and profitable. You don't need a metal detector or a treasure map, just curiosity and a little patience. So there you have it, folks. That humble little 1978 penny, the one you've probably flipped into a wishing fountain or left stuck under your car seat, could be your golden ticket. The no mint mark Lincoln penny from 1978 might look like just another old coin, but if it's got the right combination of errors, shine, and sharpness, you could be sitting on $1.9 million. All it takes is a few minutes of looking. And who knows? The next millionaire might be watching this video right now. So do me a favor, grab that old jar of coins and get hunting. And hey, if you found this video helpful or at least a little bit entertaining, smash that like button like you're striking copper, and subscribe to the channel for more coin tips, hidden values, and strategies to turn spare change into serious cash. Turn on the bell notifications too, because you never know when the next $1 million penny might pop up on this channel. Thanks for watching, happy hunting, and may your pockets always jingle with fortune. That turns pocket change into dream money. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever dropped a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a penny? Well, after today's video you might just drop to your knees to pick one up, because what if I told you there's a 1984 Lincoln penny floating around out there right now that's worth up to $1 million? Yeah, you heard that right. One single cent from 1984 could make you a millionaire faster than a Powerball ticket, and unlike the lottery, your odds are sitting right there in your coin jar. So don't go anywhere, because today we're diving into why this little brown coin is making big green waves in the collector's world and how you might already own one. Let me tell you a quick story before we dig in deep. A few months ago I was going through an old shoebox of coins with my cousin Joe. He's the kind of guy who thinks rare coins are a scam, but he humored me anyway. We're sorting through pennies and suddenly he shouts, "Hey man, this one's from 1984. With a D under the date. I raised an eyebrow and thought, no way, what if just maybe? And that's when the deep dive began. So stick around, grab your favorite snack, and let's unravel the mystery of the 1984 Lincoln penny that could buy you a house, a car, or heck, even your own private island. So let's break this down. First off, D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the major mints in the US along with Philadelphia and San Francisco. The 1984 D penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cents series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. Now millions of these were made, over 5 billion to be exact. So what makes one of them worth $1 million? Simple one word you see in the coin world: errors equal rarity, and rarity equals big money. The rarest and most valuable 1984 D pennies are those that slipped through quality control and ended up with something strange like a double die error or a dramatic off-center strike. Imagine a Lincoln penny where Abe's face looks like it had a double exposure or a shadow, or one where the letters "in Liberty" or "In God We Trust" look all fuzzy or bolded. Those are signs of double die errors, and collectors go nuts for them. But the real $1 million 1984 D? That's a coin with multiple major errors all in one. We're talking a double die obverse, possibly a repunched mint mark, and in ultra high mint state condition. Think MS67 or higher. Only a few of these are confirmed to exist, which is why they fetch those sky high prices at auction. Okay, now let's get practical. How do you know if your 1984 D penny is the jackpot? Step 1, grab a magnifying glass, or even better, a jeweler's loupe. You want something that lets you zoom in on the tiniest details. Look closely at Lincoln's ear. Yes, his ear. If it looks like he's got a ghost ear behind the first one, congrats, you might have a double die obverse error. Next, check the date. Look at the 1, the 9, the 8, and the 4. If you see any doubling, weird shadows or outlines around the numbers, that's another good sign. Now look at the D mint mark. Sometimes it was stamped more than once by accident. This is called a repunched mint mark, and it adds to the value, especially when paired with other errors. Last but not least, check the Condition: if your coin looks brand new with no scratches, no discoloration, and a sharp strong strike, then you might be looking at mint state territory. The better the condition, the higher the value, and don't be discouraged if it's not perfect. Even circulated 1984 D-era pennies can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Let's talk cash. In recent years, high-grade 1984 D Lincoln pennies with major double die errors have sold for serious money. One went at auction for over $1 million because of its extreme rarity and flawless condition. It was graded MS68 red by PCGS and featured a strong double die on Lincoln's ear and jawline. Others have sold for between $50,000 to $100,000 depending on the specific error and condition. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, come on, who pays this kind of money for a penny? Remember, this isn't about what the coin is worth in metal, this is about historical rarity. Collectors will shell out big bucks for coins that fill rare holes in their collections, and as demand for rare error coins increases, so do the prices. So even if yours isn't the $1 million coin, it might be worth a car payment or even a whole used car. Now here's where it gets fun. If you want to go on your own treasure hunt, here's what I recommend. Start digging through your change jars, piggy banks, old purses, couch cushions, glove compartments, and ask your family if they have any old coin stashes. You'd be surprised what's hiding in plain sight. Hit up flea markets, garage sales, thrift shops, and antique stores. Sometimes people sell old jars of coins for just a few bucks, and you might find a gem inside. Also consider checking rolls of pennies from your bank. Ask for $25 in penny rolls and search them. You'd be amazed what's still out there in circulation. Once you find a 1984 D penny with a possible error, don't clean it ever. Cleaning a coin can actually reduce its value by hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Instead, take clear photos and consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it, grade it, and help you determine the value. Remember my cousin Joe from earlier? Yeah, the guy who thought coin collecting was a joke. Well, after that day he became a full-blown coin nerd. Why? Because a week later he found a 1984 D penny with what looked like a double ear. He sent it in and it came back graded MS65 red with a minor double die error. He ended up selling it for $1,100. Not bad for something he almost tossed in a vending machine. He still jokes about how that penny paid for his new sofa, and every time he sees a penny on the ground now he picks it up without hesitation. I learned that day that sometimes it's not about luck, it's about looking closer than everyone else. So here's the bottom line, folks: that tiny coppery coin you've been ignoring for years might just be your ticket to a fortune. The 1984 D Lincoln penny may not look flashy, but under the surface, it holds secrets that can make your wallet a whole lot fatter. Check your coins, look for the errors, look for the shine, look for Lincoln's extra ear, and make sure to keep any unusual ones safe. And if you've got a coin that you think could be valuable, take action. Don't sit on it, send it in for grading, or at the very least get it checked by a coin dealer. This hobby is part history, part hunting, and all thrill. You never know what treasures you might already own. Before we wrap this up, if you found this video helpful or even just a little entertaining, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want more tips on valuable coins, coin collecting strategies, and stories about everyday people striking gold in their pocket change, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a new upload. And hey, next time someone calls you crazy for saving pennies, just smile and say, I'm investing in the future, my friend. Where loose change means big change. I'm talking about those little coppery beauties sitting quietly in your pockets, drawers, and couch cushions. You might think they're just pennies, but guess what? They could be your ticket to $1 million lifestyle. And today we're diving into one of the most surprising underdog stories in the world of coins, the 2006 D Lincoln 1-cent penny. Yep, that small unassuming coin minted in Denver is now making waves in the collector market, with some ultra-rare versions fetching as much as $1.1 million. Let that sink in. That's not a typo, that's not clickbait, that's cold hard copper turning into cold hard cash. So go grab your old change jar, because by the end of this video you might just be ready to dig through every penny you've ever touched. Plus I've got a personal story to share about how one overlooked penny turned into an obsession for me, and I'll walk you through exactly what makes this 2006 D coin so incredibly valuable. Alright, so here's the scoop. In 2006, the Denver Mint produced over 4 billion Lincoln pennies. That's billion with a big OLB. Now you might be thinking, okay, if there were billions made, how could one be worth over $1 million? Well, here's where things get juicy. Not all 2006 D pennies were created equal. Some of them have rare minting errors, super crisp finishes, or freaky little details that make coin collectors lose their minds and open their wallets wide. Let's break it down. There are a few ultra-rare varieties of the 2006 D penny floating around out there. The $1 million babies are generally coins with where parts of the design, like Lincoln's eye or the lettering, look like they're doubled, where the coin is stamped way off center, showing part of the blank planchet, where parts of the coin appear raised or have blobs due to cracks in the minting die. I'm talking about MS69 or even the unicorn MS70. These are practically flawless coins with full original luster. Any of these features in the right combination, especially on a Denver Mint 2006 coin, can send values skyrocketing, like $1 million skyrocketing. Now let's talk about grading. If you've got a 2006 D penny and it looks shiny, maybe even new, you're going to want to get it graded professionally. Why? Because that's how you prove your coin is the real deal, and in top-notch condition. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC use a 70-point scale, and here's the thing, a 2060 penny that looks minty fresh might be worth a few bucks, but the same coin graded MS69 or MS70 could be worth thousands, and if it's a rare error on top of that, well, now you're looking at the seven-figure club now. You're probably wondering, okay, but where does that $1.1 million value come? And well, there's been recent buzz in the collector world about a confirmed ultra-rare 2060 penny discovered in pristine MS70 condition with a perfect double die reverse and a full red color designation. This specific combo of features has never been seen before in a 2060 penny. A high-profile collector reportedly offered $1.1 million for this coin privately. It hasn't shown up at public auction yet, but experts agree this sale sets a precedent for just how much the rarest of the rare 2060 pennies can go for. So yes, a penny really did make someone a millionaire. Let me tell you a little story. A couple years ago, I was digging through my late uncle's old toolbox and I found a rusted coffee can full of coins. I dumped them out onto the kitchen table, expecting nothing more than some pocket change and maybe a wheat penny or two, but among them was a 2060 penny that looked brand new. I almost tossed it aside, but something told me to look closer. It had a slight doubling on the word Liberty and the rim looked thicker than usual. I sent it in for grading and it came back MS66RD, not quite $1 million coin, but it still sold for over $600, and that's when it hit me. These coins have value way beyond what we see now. I check every coin I come across, and so should you. How to spot a valuable 2060 penny? So here's your checklist. If you've got a 2060 penny in your collection or in your change cup, check for a mint mark D on the front right under the year doubling in the text, especially Liberty or IN Godwe. TRUST sharp clear details on Lincoln's beard, hair and jacket, unusual shapes on the rim or around the edges, off-center strikes or visible planchet areas, any cracks, raised blobs or die chips. If you see any of those, it might be worth sending it off for grading. You never know what that one little penny could be worth if you're just starting out. Here are a few quick tips to keep your hunt organized and fun. Get a magnifying glass or loupe so you can spot those tiny details. Use a coin album or folders to store your finds. Keep a log or spreadsheet of what you found and their conditions. Join online coin communities and forums to stay in the loop. Hit up coin shows, flea markets and estate sales. You never know where a rare penny might be hiding. Alright my friends, we've come a long way from that humble 2060 penny, haven't we? From pocket change to potential $1 million windfall. This coin is a shining reminder that sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest value. So the next time you break a dollar or clean out the cup holder in your car, don't overlook the pennies. Give them a second glance. One of them just might change your life. And hey, if you enjoyed this video or learned something new, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow and keeps the treasure hunting vibes going strong. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss another video about coins that could make you rich. We've got tons more coming, including tips, tricks and personal stories from real folks who turned their loose change into loot. Leave a comment below if you've got a 2060 penny or any coin you're curious about. I read every one and I love hearing your stories. Thanks for watching. Happy hunting, and remember, every coin has a story. What's